come in and just sit down and relax. We're excited to have you here. I'm Mia Sines, and this is Lori Montry, and our guest today in the hot seat is Nicole. And
fabulous Nicole.
Fabulous. Here. I'm Mia Sines, and this is Lori Montry. There. Okay. And we have some people in the waiting room. I'm going to bring them in. Okay. All right.
I invited my best friend Joe to come and listen.
Okay.
Very nice. Welcome, Joe.
All right. So, all right. So you have a question for us. Today is the hot seat. This is very exciting because at the end of the week, we have the 2-day coaching event, which is like this, but for you guys to be coached. So this is a really good opening space for you to see the transformation, the growth, the power that you can receive by coaching. It's really, really something. So Nicole had a question for us. And since Nicole is in our academy, we thought that we would bring her on air to answer that question.
Yeah, because it's one that we hear a lot, right? And so we want to make sure that that through Nicole, and Nicole, thank you for being here and for allowing us to use your example to help so many other people who are going to definitely resonate with your question and hopefully with, you know, what we have to offer you.
Yeah. And so here's her question. I have awareness that unless you want to say it, but
no, you can say it.
Okay. All right, honey. It's a lengthy one and it's really powerful. I was very proud of her actually when it came through. I have awareness that what we think about comes about. Yet I still have difficulty controlling the negative thoughts. When I am in physical pain, it is hard not to be in fight or flight. Still, revert back to victim consciousness. Why is this happening to me? Having shifted my mindset that everything is for me, I intellectually know how difficulty actualizing it. Oh, but she's having difficulty actualizing it. Sorry, I forgot the but. Lori talked about the addiction to certain states. I believe I am sick, not I have sickness. It has become an identity, a way of being. I am between a rock and a little stuck, or I'm between and a little stuck. So I've been working with Nicole for like a year and a half, and Lori has been working with her for about a half a year at least. And so we're really excited about this because this is where we are as humans, right? If we have a chronic illness or pain or sickness, sometimes it builds to more and more and more, and we lose who we are. And that's the thing. One of the ways back into yourself is how we're going to coach her through this. So take notes, listen with your heart, be open, and you're going to see some beautiful transformation here. It's really, really powerful. So Nicole, I know that you have several different, we don't want you to tell us about them. That's not what this is about. So I know you have several different chronic illnesses going on at the same time. And I know that you've healed a lot too. And so we're super, super proud of you and the hard, dedicated work that you are doing for yourself. Lori, should we have her say anything about how she's feeling before we jump in?
Yeah, how she's feeling today in this space and all of that. Is that what you mean? Yeah. How are you feeling? You know, we're calling it the hot seat, but really it's more like the love seat, right?
Oh, I love that.
Pour all over you. We're going to love you. And we're going to just, you know, help you bring that energy up to where you want it to be so that you can get unstuck. But how are you feeling? Are you feeling pretty?
So, like through doing the course, getting up to module 5, I intellectually understand because I've read thousands of books. It's not that I don't know, but it's actualizing it. It's actually putting it into practice. Yeah. When I wake up in the morning, I'm in physical pain. And the first thing that happens is it hits my head. How do you get yourself out of this pain? Using your mind to control your body. And then when you can't control your body, your emotions get involved And it's like this hamster wheel that then the emotional pain causes more physical pain, which causes more mental anguish. And I've become aware of that process, and I try to just be in a state of, okay, allowing what's happening and not reacting to it, and choosing to respond. But I'm here to heal myself and to help others heal. And so I need to get well to be able to do that. And I've healed some things through my life, but I had, major GI surgery, and I deal with, digestion and being able to leave my house. And I never know from day to day, tomorrow I can plan to do something, but I might not make it because I can't leave the house. So even though I, work on having this positive mindset and saying, I know what happens to my thinking now creates my reality for tomorrow. But then when you see, okay, tomorrow I wake up and I'm back in physical pain, then your faith falters, and you go between feeling, oh, I'm strength, I can do this, I'm overcoming this, to going back to helplessness and hopelessness, saying, I can't control this circumstance, whether it's a health issue, whether it's a belief system that you have, knowing that I came from abuse in childhood, my body reverts to fight or flight response, and I'm probably under stress all the time, not knowing it, until it really reacts strongly and I have a strong reaction. And how do you get out of that? And then I heard you talking about that your body can actually, I know about the neural pathways, that the thoughts that you think keep wiring together. And then your perception is that everything you filter in has to align with what you believe. But when you've been brought up from childhood in an unsafe situation, it's hard to find that place that you were talking about of peacefulness and joy when that's not your main operating system. Right. And you're talking about rewiring, and it's not enough to just think positive thoughts.
I want Lori to talk about what she wants to talk about, but also about the states of addiction. And you've come along, first of all, I want to say you've come a long way. When you first used to come online, I
couldn't get out of bed.
You couldn't get out of bed. And look at you today. You look great. You look fabulous. And you have your days. So as somebody who has dealt with chronic illness myself, I'd like you to look at it as it's not a permanent fixture. And when you look at it that way, you also, besides bring the hope back, but you understand that the path of the healing that you have and those spaces of clarity and feel good and movement and the things that you want to do, you want more of that. So honor those spaces. Remember those spaces when you're in your worst place. You can train yourself, honey, to remember the good, because that's how I'm getting through. Since I'm in chemo, that's how I'm getting through my ups and my downs. So I'm going to let Lori take it, and then I'll come in too.
Yeah, there's so much here, so much beautiful things here, first of all. And I just want to lay a little foundation here. And like Mia was saying, really honor the space that you're in, because you're in a really incredible space right now because you have access to how you want to feel. And you have the ability to be in that space, albeit sometimes you want more of it and you want to not go back to the old. You want to only live in the new. But I want you to understand how incredible it is that you have access, that you know what it's like. Because for so many people, they're like, I don't know how to live in the new. I don't know what the new looks like. I don't even know how to, embrace it or what it would even look like. And so I just want you to think about the fact, wow, I really am kind of advanced, kind of far along, because I am able to live in that space sometimes and get myself there. And so that's what progress looks like. In the beginning, we don't even know what we want it to look like. We don't even know it's possible. We're pretty convinced that it's not. And then we get to the point where we're like, we can see it and we know what we're reaching for, but we can't really live there. And you're at the next level, which is, I know it. I can put myself there sometimes, and I feel that alignment and that, but I go back, and that's how it works. And then the next step, of course, is, if right now you're 50-50, say, then you're 75-25, then you're 90, and so on. And so I just want to acknowledge, like, any frustration that you have around not being exactly where you want to be, just first of all, acknowledge, right? Like Mia was saying, how much strength you have, how much power you have, because you have taken this journey and you're where you are. So I want to say, for anybody who's going to watch the session and isn't quite at the place where Nicole is yet, where you don't have access to what you want to believe instead, and you don't get to spend time there yet, that's okay. That's coming, and we can help you figure out how to get to this beautiful place. But I understand that you're not done, and this is not where you want to stay. And so that's why we're here today, offering you and loving you and helping you kind of see a little bit of a bigger picture with it. And one thing I always, that I really want to stress before we dive into kind of some of the steps that you can take is, you're looking at a big picture here. You are saying to us, I want to be healed. I want to be up here 100%. And that's beautiful. And I know, because of who you are, that you're going to get there. But the intermediate step that we really want to focus on, because it's right here in front of you, and we always want to take the step that's right here in front of us instead of trying to figure out a step that's not quite there yet. You've identified it in a really powerful way. And that is, how do I stay in my place of safety and calm? Because when you do that, the rest takes care of itself. So you're over here trying to figure out, how do I heal myself? How do I this? How do I that? That's not even for you to even have to figure out. And isn't that incredible? You can just like take that off and set it down, because you don't have to figure that whole picture out. But your genius self, your wise, powerful, greatest self, which is what this program is all about accessing, that self, that part of you that is ready to take on this journey with you and get you to that next level. The thing that it wants you to focus on right now is your nervous system, is providing that sense of safety, because like you said, in the background, your whole life has been this sense of, I'm not safe. And my external circumstances around me, I always have to be on high alert. And when we're on high alert, number one, we're much more susceptible to, intolerances and to sensitivities and to disease of all kinds, right? And as you so wisely said as well, when you have something going on in your body, if your nervous system is activated, then it's constantly feeding that, and it exacerbates it, and certainly makes it very difficult for you to be able to heal. So we don't have to figure out the big picture today. We have a beautiful step that is right in front of us. And that step is, how do I provide that sense of safety for myself, for my nervous system? Because in that space, I have access to my greatest self that knows what the next step is. So you're talking about, those thoughts that keep coming in, like, no, this is who I am. I'm actually someone who just struggles with sickness, and I'm always going to be sick. And, I want to understand those a little bit better, because we want to, when we want to get into the practicality of this, okay, what am I going to do? I know all this stuff in my mind. I know that I want to shift my thinking, and that these thoughts are not the ones that serve me, and all of that. But we need a method. And we have so much education with respect to neuroscience and how our brains work and how we can go about it. So I want to dive into that. But first, let's talk about, if you could give us 3 thoughts that you currently have that are keeping your system, your nervous system, in a state of survival. What are those 3 thoughts? This is step 1. This is awareness. And I know you have awareness in the sense, like my thinking, right? But I want to know, what are those exact 3 thoughts that you want to work on in this short term that are keeping you feeling like you're unsafe, feeling like you're someone who's sick, feeling like you're stuck?
The first one would be the victim consciousness, like why bad things happen to me, like I'm always getting hurt. And now my body is hurting me if there's someone else there not to hurt me. Yeah. So I'm feeling out of control of my circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bad things happen to me. Yeah. We'll just kind of simplify it as that right there. Okay. Where, go ahead and tell me the next couple. And maybe if there's not three, maybe that one is, encompasses kind of all of it, and that's okay.
The next one would be my feeling of helplessness and hopelessness of not being able to control my body and control my life, and knowing that I'm a powerful manifester and that I've created all this. How do I uncreate what I've done, and how do I further prevent myself from creating more of what I don't want rather than what I do want?
We also need to get into the spiritual side of this too, because just as you're speaking there's that statement that you've heard me say 100 times, Nicole. I know you'll remember it. I destroy and uncreate, right? As spiritual beings, we destroy that stuff and we uncreate it to recreate it the way we want it. So I destroy and uncreate this spiritual relationship with my body.
And I've told you that on a soul level, I'm kind of angry at my soul for creating these painful experiences, even though I've done therapy and knowing that it's going to bring me to a higher purpose and I'm going to be able to help more people from what I've gone through. But it's like, I just want to be joyous. I don't want to have any more tough lessons, so on a deep level, ingrained, knowing that I create everything in my life has created guilt and anger at myself for what I've created. And then my inability to stop creating more mess down the road.
Okay. These are really big, actually. And I say
they also go hand in hand, though, don't they? They're like sisters. If you have one, you have the other, and then it's like they're all connected, like they're all birthed together. So whichever one we handle, will handle all of them because they're all interwoven. So that's the beauty of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think of these kind of core beliefs as, there's usually kind of one central one that's like the main river. And then there's a bunch of branching off that are the tributaries. So when we get our hands on that really the strong one, right, on the main river, then all the tributaries dry up, and that's a wonderful thing. And because of all the incredible work you've done, you have identified some of these really big, important core beliefs that are underlying the struggle for you. So let me just, and I know, Mia, there's a lot here, so we won't run out of material anytime soon, right? And I say that in a very loving and excited way, because since there's stuff here, that means there's an opportunity and an opening for progress for you.
We can also, if we still need to or want to go over a few more, we can always take it to our Thursday, Friday, 2-day of experience, right? Because that can open up the door as we move through.
And there's going to be so much
teachings and learning in there.
Yeah. And people are going to be resonating with this because it's a very common experience, right? And even if you're not living in chronic illness, you're still very likely having these ideas, bad things happen to me and I'm helpless to control my life. Nicole, I'm curious if you wouldn't mind sharing, and certainly anytime, that you would rather not share, don't worry about that at all. This is a safe place, and so you have control here as far as what you want to share and what you may want to save for another time with us. But curious to know when and what kind of circumstances when you were young, when you felt hopeless or helpless to be able to control your circumstances.
I was physically and mentally, emotionally abused by my mother from birth. She tried to kill me when I was young. She broke my arm, my clavicle, and 4 of my ribs when I was 6 months. So I felt hopeless from as long as I can remember, and helpless to be able to stop her from hurting me. And the only times in my childhood that I was removed to safety was when she broke bones and other people saw it, like the teachers at my school, and then I would be taken away and put with relatives. But because my dad had money and he was in denial, he put me back in there, and it just went on for 15 and a half years until finally I was permanently removed by the police. And so I've never felt safe. You know, I used to lie in bed at night and try not to breathe just so she wouldn't know that I was alive. So I didn't even feel like I deserved to be alive.
Yeah.
And so I've never really felt safe. I took the courage to go and travel the world when I was 22, and I had an abusive boyfriend, because, you know, when you come from an abusive childhood, you create oftentimes someone else who's going to abuse you to replace that treatment. And it took a long while for me to realize that the one thing that really got to me was I realized that this person didn't love me enough to treat me right, and that they hurt me. But the real thing that got to me, what my awakening, was knowing that I loved myself less, because I loved this person thinking I could heal them and change them more than I loved my own safety and security.
Yeah.
So then from the year of when I was 15, I got mono and glandular fever, and I've been sick. I'm now 51. I've been sick, and I've never held a job down for more than 3 months. I've had times where I've traveled the world and been free, but my body has reverted back to being sick because, you know, somehow being injured is a normal state for me, being in high alert and fight or flight and my safety. And so I realized that when I got out of abusive relationships, and now I've been alone for 7 years, it's like, if there's not someone else to do it to me, I'm doing it to myself by creating illness in my body.
Yeah.
And all that emotional pain has manifested into physical ailments.
Yeah. So this is really powerful, because I think it's always useful to understand, where did these beliefs that we want to change now, where did they come from? And we can see for you and for everyone, there's a reason why, there's a brilliant reason why we developed the belief that we had. And for you, you know, that was protection. It was, I'm not safe, so that you could be on high alert. You know, high alert was where you needed to be, because at any moment, right, someone could come, because they did have power over you because you were small, right? And so it makes perfect sense that bad things happen to me, I'm helpless, that those were the messages that your brain created in order to protect you, right? It's kind of a beautiful thing that your brain does. Your beautiful brain said, I need to take care of Nicole. I'm going to make sure that she is aware of her surroundings all the time, that she is constantly assuming that someone's going to hurt her. She's going to be assuming something bad is going to happen. And in that way, she's going to be more careful and protect herself. So you can see why these aren't bad things, and you're not bad, and you're not, you know, deficient, because this is your belief pattern. This is brilliant. You are brilliant, and your brain is brilliant for doing that. But you've come to a point in your life, and have been for a while, is to see, okay, that's not useful anymore. And it's not true. I'm grown up. I'm a beautiful, wise, powerful woman, and I create my life. You know that on this level, right? On your soul level.
Yeah.
But the little girl in you is still very, very scared, because those experiences were real, and they were very impactful at a time when our brains were open, right? And trying to make sense of the world. So what we take on when we're small those core beliefs that are developed then are very challenging to overcome because they are, rooted in our brains and our neurological pathways, so strongly wired in. But that's not to say, and I don't say that to discourage you. I just want you to kind of understand it in a big picture. There's nothing wrong with me, and I absolutely can change this. Here's why it's here in the first place. Here's why it's a little bit challenging. And now I want to talk to you a little bit, and Mia, from more of a spiritual perspective, I want to give you a method that I want you to be working on from a more of that scientific approach. And then Mia's going to come in and soften all those edges with this beautiful spirituality about how to see yourself and how to, support yourself. I really want you to have a lot more grace for yourself around this, because when you're thinking to yourself about, oh no, I'm creating these bad things. How do I stop creating these bad things? And, it has to look like this and it doesn't look like this yet. What is all of those kinds of thinking? What does that do for your nervous system? Keeps it activated, keeps it in danger. So what we want to do is really start to focus on today, who you are today. You are this incredible, beautiful, powerful woman. And we want to remember that and act from that, instead of standing in life as that sweet little baby and toddler and adolescent that was not yet, did not know yet her power and her ability to take care of herself, right? So there's stuff for us to unpack and to continue working together. But today I want to just bring it down to the next step that's right in front of you. And that is providing a sense of safety and security for yourself today, right now in this moment. You don't need to heal. You don't need to have anything happen for you in order for you to feel safe inside. And that's one of the biggest lies that we tell ourselves, is that I have to fix everything around me before I can be safe. I have to have somebody in my life. I have to have this certain kind of relationship before I can feel safe. I have to have this money in the bank before I can feel safe. I have to have this health before I can feel safe. And that isn't true. And when we try to create from outside of us so that we can feel safe inside, we never get there, because life is not that way. It's always going to be presenting us. Mia could say, well, I can't be safe because I have a health challenge right now. And I could say, I can't be safe because of this situation or that situation. And what an exhausting way to live and be, to never be safe, right? So we're going to work on creating that safety for you. And the thoughts are a great place, right? We talk a lot in the program about all the different ways, the emotional ways, and the ways that we support your nervous system through somatic training and all that. So you're getting that. But today, because we can't, fix it, be, so, to do all the work in one session. Today, we're just going to look at the thoughts, which are a really important aspect. And so the thoughts that I am helpless, I'm not able to control my life. And that's the little girl. That's thoughts of the little girl. What does Nicole say about that? What is her soul when she's connected to that greatest version? That powerful, wise woman. What does she say to the little girl that says, I'm helpless and I'm not able to control my life? Anything come up?
It's difficult because sometimes I go numb.
Yes, that's the overwhelm, right? And it's the girl saying, Nicole, no, do not think anything else. If you think something else, I won't be protected. Yeah. And so this is a place where people get stuck. They don't know what to think instead. And it's important that we go in what we choose to focus on and what we want to develop for you and then anchor in for you as your new thought. We want it to be something that's kind of believable. Because if you just tell that little girl, everything is great and we're perfectly safe, she's going to be like, I don't buy it. And it's going to be rejected and shut down. That's the shutdown right there. You got flooded because that is too big of a jump from I'm not safe, I'm not, I'm not secure, I'm helpless, I'm here, I'm petrified, terrified. And you say, everything is just fine. She's like, okay, bye. And that's the overwhelm that you feel. So we don't want to go to this thought. That's not the right thought for you right now. There's a thought that's closer to where she is that she can embrace. And that's this is something that me and I teach that's so important, because most of the time, people say, well, I do my affirmations. Well, I do this. And if your affirmations are over here and you're over here, we're going to shut down. There's too much.
Yeah, it's like I tried doing this affirmation, I'm healthy, whole, and complete. Yeah. But it didn't feel like in my soul, like I was right there. And I was like, I can't hold on to that space. So I understand that I have to learn to be joyful in whatever circumstance I'm going through. And intellectually, I've learned that.
Yeah.
But it's really difficult.
Yes.
Can I hop in just for a second?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So on the literal space, you can know exactly that kindness within yourself. So bring that part in. Your affirmations are out of alignment with you because you, being the intellect that I know you are, being the spiritual that I know you are, haven't gone through, can I just say this? And your affirmation was, I'm
healthy, whole, and complete.
Okay. Think about what healthy is for you.
Absence of disease and pain.
But even more than that, how does it feel in your body? How could you move being healthier? Put in the new idea of consciousness of what you are capable of. See, in the old way, you're not capable of anything because you haven't given yourself the space to grow into it, to move into it. So the healthy is beautiful. What were the other two? Sorry, let me write them down.
Whole and complete.
Okay. So this is where you look at what whole looks like, not your concept of whole, but what the concept of the truth of what the whole being looks like. You've taken, I don't know how many Kabbalahs you've taken. You're up to level 10 or 5 or something like that. Crazy. You've taken so many spiritual classes. You're very aligned to this. So this is more simplistic work. It's that brain trying to trick you into not supporting yourself, right? We have to retrain our subconscious so that it produces information for our conscious. So it becomes partners with our conscious. So I want you to think about next time, not now, but bring it up afterwards to yourself, what healthy, whole, and complete really looks like for you. Because complete might be, yeah, well, I've got my food and I've got this in my apartment and all that, and I'm great. No, it's not. You are out. See, healthy, whole, and complete are simultaneous together, just like healthy is with whole and complete. And whole has the healthy and the complete with it. So it's really one package. Change your affirmation, but also spend time on the concept of what healthy, whole, and complete is for you. Because you come from a high intellectual family, from what I recall, and you are. So you need to use a little bit more. Everybody operates differently. I'm saying this because you operate very similar to me. So identify what healthy looks like for you, what whole looks like for you, and what complete looks like for you.
And I know that for me, healthy means the absence of disease and pain. But part of me needs to understand that I may have to live with some pain still. I may have to live with some
temporarily. So in those moments that you're feeling free, breathe that in. Wow, this feels so exciting. I'm going to remember this when I'm not feeling free. So that when I'm not feeling free, I have the faith, the knowledge that it will come back around. The more that you dig into that healthy side, that whole side, that complete side, the faster you're going to get there. When I'm brought down by anything regarding cancer, I go back to that healthy state, and I know that it's actually more of me than the non-healthy places. Why don't you track that, how healthy your thoughts are coming, how healthy your body's following suit. Your compassion will be there, your completeness will be there, your wholeness already is. You've studied so much and for so long, and you've studied a long time with me, and we're not done, but you have made great progress. You need to look at your progress, honey, where you were to where you are. We must honor what we've done in the past that grows us and pushes us forward. Otherwise, we're stuck in that place of that spinning cycle on the wash machine, round and round and round. I don't have it. I'm not well. I don't even want to say the words because I'm working on something different. So literally. So I want you to be aware of the words and the concepts, follow them down. I've told you before, you've heard this because I've told it in class. When I was little, I started meditating at age 7 because as metaphysicians, we used to have to do some work in the mornings, and part of it was prayer. And when I got through literally talking to God and identifying exactly what I was saying and knowing, because I thought this is a long time to be quiet. So I really dug into my relationship with my higher self, my higher being, which to me is God. And everything began to change. My awareness opened up even more. And we're talking about the awareness to identify quickly when you're in your healthy space and when you're not in your healthy space. Practice these because you are a divine light, just like everyone else, just like we all are, right? You are this light, and put the healthier, better stuff in your conscious awareness than the deprivation. We all have deprivation. We've all been through something that has felt like we've been deprived of a smile, a laughter, love, wholeness, right? And that's not true either. There's one other thing, and then I'm going to give it back to Lori, because I don't want to forget this, and it's important. Your breath work, honey. Do it in your bed. Laugh, ha ha. I can do this. I can be heard. This is going to be a very powerful space for you, because the little girl, the part inside of you, and I want you to connect to that little tiny part, is going to be laughing her butt off, breathing, doing breath work, whatever you want to do, because you have the right to be heard. And that's one of the things that I want you to reach for and grab, is your right to be heard, to be seen in safety. I've been to your home. It's lovely. It's safe. It's comfortable. It's beautiful. So get in bed and start laughing and breathe, be heard, play with that type of energy, because you most certainly need to be heard, Nicole. And the people that are waiting for you to help them in the near future want to hear you. So get busy with that. Okay. Sorry, Lori. Thank you. Back to you.
Wow, so much.
Back to you in the studio.
Yeah. So many good things.
I know later at a later point, maybe we can talk about the role of depression in this, because I know that I'm bipolar. I used to be in the highs, and I used to stay out all night and be high on life and have this elevated sense of like I was on drugs. And so I felt good. But then now, because my body's been sick, I've been stuck in this depression, and I don't want to take medication for it. And I want to be able to heal it naturally. But it's like,
and you will.
Also you claim that you're bipolar. I was bipolar. Stop claiming it. I was bipolar too. You don't want to be in the highs, babe. You don't want to be in the highs, because if you think about it, and you don't even have to think about it now, but as you start dating again and getting out there, you're going to realize that you needed to take it down a notch or two, and you need to now. You can't be that same person. I've done that with me. I've caught myself and said, wait a minute, that did not bring you the true happiness. That actually spiraled you out over here, and you were very sad and miserable. So remember who you are and what actually feels right for you.
Yeah, so much good stuff. So I want to just highlight a couple of things that was so beautifully said, and then I want to make sure that that we leave you with, here are my clear steps that I'm going to take until the next time we meet in order to make progress in this way. Okay. So the first thing, you know, I want you to try as much as you can to take the focus off of your body right now, because that is a source of anxiety for you. That's a place where you feel like, I gotta hurry up. I really want this. It's wrong the way it is. And I gotta, you know, fix it. How do I fix it? I'm not sure. All of that is just creating more of that sense of insecurity in your world. So I really want you to take the focus off of your body, just trusting that's going to come. That's not the step that's in front of me today. The step that's in front of me today is working with these specific thoughts. And as I work with them and take this one step, then the next step will be there for me. The other thing is that you don't need to be pain-free to be safe and secure. And that is, you don't need anything to be safe and secure. And that's what I was talking about before. A lot of people say, you know, they're always in a relationship and have never not been in one, even though sometimes they're not relationships that serve them, because they feel like, I can't feel safe and secure in the world without a relationship. I can't feel safe and secure in the world without a job that is, you know, very, very secure. Even if they hate their job, they'll stay in it because they think, I need that for my sense of safety and security. So we don't need anything. So we can take that off the table. I can find safety and security even in a body that is having some challenges. And the funny thing is, you get there and then your body's like, okay, you don't need these challenges anymore to prove to yourself that you can find safety without them. So, but that's a different topic for a different day. Right now, just know I can feel safe and secure today, even though I'm still figuring out how to support my body best. Okay, so that's number one. And what Mia said about when you're in that space where you are connected with your wise, powerful, greatest self, how she said to really appreciate that and to take note of that. And that's because whatever we focus on, you know, that's what we get more of. So if you are in that space and you are like, oh my gosh, you know, here I am. I'm so grateful for this. Look at me. This is where I want to be. And the fact that I get to be in this space for however long I get to be. Yes. Wow. And what that does is those positive emotions are wiring in those neurological pathways that you're creating in that moment. So it's just like PTSD, but it's instead of strong negative emotion, we can wire things in powerfully with strong positive emotion. So you are essentially wiring that in hardcore when you are appreciating it and saying, wow, look at me, I'm amazed, this is so great. You know, get in the Facebook group, get in the Greatest You Revolution Facebook group and post, I am feeling this and it's amazing. Share it, whatever you can do in order to just embrace that. You're going to find that you're spending more and more time there as you do that, just automatically without doing anything else, just appreciating it more. And for you, you know, I know that because you worked with Mia, there's no way that you haven't done beautiful inner child work. And there's probably a little bit more that you can do in the background, because if your inner child formed your nervous system, and your nervous system is holding on to a lot of those old experiences. So as you get further into the course and really start to embrace your somatic practice, which is a way that we can release old memories and old programming, right? All of this work is going to be supported by that and be easier. But we want to go back, you know, and again, that's a different topic for another time, but we want to do that inner child work so that that inner child is no longer in there screaming, we're not safe, please, we have to be on guard and protect us. Okay. So all of that is kind of almost side notes, important and beautiful. But what I really want to make sure you have today is, I have these thoughts. You came here with a question, right? I have these thoughts. I want to shift them because I know they're keeping me stuck. So whether it's a thought like yours, you know, bad things happen to me, I'm helpless, I'm not able to control my life, or if it's some other, you know, thought system that people are thinking of for themselves, like, you know, I can't be successful, I always pick the wrong person, you know, and we could go on for days, right, with the kinds of thoughts that keep us stuck. but you've identified a couple of them, which is wonderful. That's the first step. The second step being, how can I see it differently? And we talked about the fact that if you're reaching for a thought that's way over here and you're actually here, that's not a good replacement thought. It doesn't work. So we want to move it. We want to move it and move it and move it till you find a thought that's like, oh, that's a better feeling thought, but it's also kind of believable. I can get behind that. I can embrace that. And I can really, sink my teeth into it. So that's what we want to identify for you. And then we want to anchor it in. So this is for you to sit with your wise, powerful, connected, greatest self and figure out what that thought is. But some ideas are, and maybe Mia, you have an idea too, instead of reaching for that ultimate thought, maybe something just as simple as, I can trust myself to create safety. It's not saying I feel safe, because you don't. But if you start to trust yourself that you can do that, then it's from that place that you'll be able to see the next step, what that looks like and what that feels like to be creating that sense of safety for yourself.
And hopefully, as soon as I can feel safe and trust myself, it gets to the point where I am safe. I am safe.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
identify
exactly.
when it shifts for you and change your affirmation to what you've, like what Lori said, what you've shifted into.
Yeah, this is a ladder we're building. This is the first step. I trust myself that I'll be able to create safety, that I'll be able to feel safe, right? And so on. We step our thoughts just like we would anything else we do. We can't.
Like when that happens, the little girl comes up and says, "Oh, bad things have happened to you in the past."
Yeah, she's got evidence.
So you can't be sure that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why we need to go to her.
Yeah, you're the older one here. So you can also love her, honey. I love you very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've also had a lot of good. You can shift the narrative, as Lori says, absolutely change that, because that little girl is looking they're bossy, but she's looking for the love. She's looking for the safety. Yeah. She's looking for the security. And that's something that you can give her. Remember, anyone who does the inner child work that is in the academy or that you've had access to before through my stuff, the inner child meditation process, you take her in and you love her. You nurture her because you're the adult and you show her that you are grown. You are past that, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's
you've got her now.
Yeah. And what's happening is your awareness, your mind, your consciousness, your subconsciousness, everything is coming together. Like, oh, aha, I feel it. Remember, it's a feeling. I feel it. Yeah. We're connected through the feelings on everything together.
Yeah. This inner child, this parts work, I mean, we can talk about it if you're open to it. And if Mia, if you like it, I mean, I think in 2 weeks, it would be really useful for us if Nicole wanted to come back and after you've, taken some of these things, but for us to work specifically, bring that little girl, sit her down with us and really help her understand that this is a different life right now. This is not that. And that is a very important aspect of thinking new thoughts. There's a lot of teachers that say, just keep reaching for this thought over here, right? Like I've been saying, that doesn't work. And there's a lot of teachers that say, you don't need to pay any attention to your past. You just need to forget about it and just move on, right? And I'm not saying we dwell in it, right? Me and I would never want anyone to dig everything up. But at the same time, if we ignore it, then she's in there calling out and saying, I can't move forward because I don't believe it, right? So this would be really powerful as a follow-up to this and recognizing how important it is sometimes to go back in and provide that, to make sure that that little girl part of you knows there is an adult here in the room now. There is someone, right, who has your back and can protect you and take care of you. And that's grown up you. So that is that's such an important topic, and I really feel that it's so much at play here that it would be really useful maybe in 2 weeks to come back and
the other thing is, like, a big thing is trusting yourself. Like, I know I've manifested Mia, I've manifested great things in my life, and I'm moving forward in a lot of ways, but the trust in just knowing, okay, you know, can I keep myself safe? Can I keep myself from being hurt? Because even though I was a child, I understand that I had no control over that. But then I made choices where I was sexually attacked multiple times, where I went through domestic violence, which I had to run away from my country to get away from him. So as an adult, I also made bad choices. So
you didn't make those choices as an adult. Your child that was hurting and reaching out and trying to figure, she made those choices.
The underdeveloped you made the choices rather than the developed you, which you've been working on.
Right.
Your choices would be different.
Right. So I vacillate between knowing that I'm not going to create those circumstances anymore, but, you know, no one to abuse me or anything else, but I'm still, you know, in the stage where I know it's there, because I wouldn't be manifesting illness if it wasn't there. I wouldn't still be depressed if it wasn't there. So I know there's
part of this, honey, is your body has gotten to a place through the thoughts to a sickness, right?
Yeah.
One sickness adds onto another, onto another, onto another. You've gone through and you removed a lot of the things that were happening, and you're clearing them up.
Yeah.
Be aware that you don't have to add anything on, right? You don't have to add anything on in order for Nicole to touch Nicole, in order for Nicole to reach Nicole. The illnesses don't have to keep coming, and tell yourself that, right? When you're not feeling well, babe, you just tell yourself, these don't have to be here. This doesn't have to be my story. I don't have to keep getting sick.
Yeah.
I've had to do this. I keep telling Lori, I tell Lori, I'm finally relaxing for the first time in my life. Well, now I'm telling you guys, which was embarrassing to say, because I was always on high alert. When was the next, whatever going to happen, right? And so when you're on high alert and you want to live that way, well, you don't want to live that way. When you're on high alert living that way, and you don't know anything else, you can't move and shift. Now that I know what I'm doing, my body is like resting and doing things that I've never done in my entire life. Seriously. So I see these shifts and changes that you've made, and they're obviously available to you because you do have awareness. It's the parts that you need to work on and work with and not be afraid. Identify their age, identify the storyline, and break that thing, right? We love to break belief systems.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll kind of focus on those parts the next time. But for this time, I want you to have really a strong hold on the thought that feels good for you to take into the next, couple of weeks, whatever it looks like, and really be able to embrace them. And maybe it's something as simple as, I trust that I'll be able to create safety.
I had something that I was working on, and it was writing on the bathroom mirror, I am enough.
If that feels like, it's not too far of a jump, that is such a true statement. And from there, everything else can happen, right? You are enough. And so the two things I want you to take with that, to actually do, right? Because we need the practices. Right. You hear about these things, you have educated yourself in a beautiful way, and all of that is useful, and it's going to come into play right now, but we have to take action, everyday action towards making the changes, building the new neural pathways from which we will then act and live our life. So what I want to invite you to do is to take your mantra. If it's, I am enough. Think about, the trust and whatever else, and really create something that you can sink your teeth into that feels right today. Then I want you to journal about that for a minute or two. What does that feel like? And really conjure up those emotions. When I am fully embracing this affirmation, this mantra of mine that is, close to where I am, that's not too far, that's just right for me today. How do I feel? And embrace that and really live into that. And then I want you to do something called evidence journaling, which you will find that we're going to do in the class, right? You've probably come across it already. And that is, here's the evidence that this is true. So you have the evidence that of all the beautiful things that you've created in your life and all the things. And that's what Mia was saying, focus on the progress you've already made. This is evidence journaling, right? I love it when we, and especially in the beginning, when we're really trying to reach for a new thought, put up your evidence and see it. Be like, wow, look at that list of all of these things that show that I'm enough, that I can trust myself, all the things that prove your affirmation, your mantra correct and true, right? And anytime that thought comes in that says, yeah, but you made this mistake. Yeah, but stop and ask yourself, okay, was I really connected to the greatest version of me when I made that? No. Okay, so it's not. I can trust the greatest version of me. That was a wounded part. And yeah, I don't want to live and trust my wounded part. Like I want to heal them, right? And my wise, powerful woman, my greatest self, can do that. So these are actual steps. Like if you're doing that kind of thing, day in and day out, those neurological pathways for the new thought are going to be built. And then, like Mia said, then we're going to look at it and we're going to say, am I ready for the next step, the next rung on this ladder building to the ultimate thought that I want to think? And the answer will be yes. And we'll craft that new one. And then you'll keep moving up your ladder until you are saying with complete confidence, I am complete, whole, and healthy, and it will show in your body as much as in the feelings in your body. And that's how we're going to get there. Yeah.
I know. I'm just like, I feel like I'm wasting time, and I feel like I want to be able to improve my life so I can help others not spend 30 years carrying this childhood trauma around. And
you don't have to carry it around for another 30 years, honey.
No, I'm not.
You're right there.
Yeah. No more victim consciousness. But I know that, my purpose is to help other women through painful circumstances and to move beyond it. And that I want to be a mentor and I want to be a healer. So I'm looking for the gift in the circumstances so that I can be a gift.
Yeah.
Why don't you do this for me, and I'll pass it over to Lori, and you and I will meet sometime between now and the next time that, well, not between Thursday, but we'll meet again. I would like you to write your thoughts of victim consciousness, just the ones that are close up, right? And then I want you to write all the other great stuff. So like just a little quarter of that, and then 3/4 of the great stuff. And I want you to see it and feel it, because you're shifting. And so this is a way for you to shift, going, oh, that is old. That is not this. Oh, yes. And I want more of this, please. And I'd like that too. And I'd like that. So it's shopping for yourself, more or less. When you think about it, you're shopping for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to the grocery store, pull down what you want for your mind. Absolutely.
Like I made kind of an affirmation, but I said that I want to be able to go anywhere, anytime, and do anything with anyone.
What freedom, right?
What freedom.
And that's for me to be free.
Yeah. And in December, I'll be back in Miami. So that's a very good place when you and I can go have our lunch that we have. And maybe we'll get Lori there for our girls' lunch.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
So, this is the aligned version of you right now that we're seeing and interacting with. This is your greatest you. So journal about her, think about her, write that out, see it, and know exactly what that would look like. Imagine the situations, the circumstances that would come up and what that would look like for you. This is the way to create it. I love that. And what you said, you know, you're looking for the gift in all of this so that you'll be able to help other people. And there's no doubt, you know, me and I have been through the things that have been through so that we could stand in these places with other women and hold their hand and show them, right? So, but you have to have a process. And it doesn't mean that we all have to have the same, but you have to translate all of your beautiful knowledge into action now. And that's what I really want to invite you to do that work. And to the extent that we can be supportive by you, if you're feeling like it's something that would serve you, show us in the Facebook group, show us, you know, there's the other people who watch and are resonating and like, just could learn from you, right? You want to shine that light. You want to give that gift. If it feels right to you to kind of share some, not everything, whatever you feel comfortable with, but what is some of the evidence that you collected? What is the affirmation that you're working on? What are you journaling about in a bigger sense? You don't have to share the, you know, particulars, whatever you're comfortable with, but let that maybe serve you as a piece of, you know, I want to share the gifts. This is a opening to do that. And, you know, you reminded me as you were talking and Mia was talking about the shifts. Yesterday, 8/8 is Lionsgate, right? Which is, I don't know a lot about that kind of stuff. I usually, you know, Mia's my source for that kind of stuff, but someone sent me this today and it just reminded me of this conversation so much. The Lionsgate reminder is your current reality is changing and this flow is carrying you swiftly. Let the new views around you help you to find a sense of peace. It's okay for things to be different. Release your grasp, dear one. It's time to let it go.
That's really beautiful.
Wow. Yeah. This was for you. They sent it to me today, even though yesterday was the day that it was whatever. And I really feel like it was for you, for this space right here.
Let's send that out in our email today with the replay. That would be really beautiful.
And I would just want to say thank you, Eileen, my dear, beautiful, another student of The Greatest You, because it was on her mind and she sent it. And so look at how beautifully we're a community together, supporting each other and having, you know, the things that we need. So The Greatest You, the Academy, is just such a beautiful place. And I'm so grateful for really, I mean, the incredible people, inspired people who are in there, inspiring each other, inspiring us. It's a really incredible place to be. It's a six month deep dive into all of these areas where we are, you know, keeping ourselves limited and not living into that dream that we know has been created for us. And busting through all the blocks, just like the thoughts that we're talking about today, like the inner child, you know, needing to be healed so that we can step into the greatest version of ourselves and move into the life that we were meant to live. And so anybody, you know, the Academy's open all the time for new students. As long as there's space, of course, but we would, anyone who has any interest, we'd love to jump on a call and kind of help you understand, you know, how it could help you move into that greatest version and the space that you want to be in your life.
I'd like to say one little quick thing that was really beautiful. You know, this Academy is helping and has helped people. It's tremendous just in the short time that Lori and I have been business partners and have opened it up. It's been, we're getting letters all the time now.
Can I read the last one?
Yeah.
That was so cute. It says, she just watched the replay and she reached out to tell us, she said, holy shit, that rewatch was transcending, amazing light workers in action, very deep and high vibrations. Thanks for all you do. We are all amazing authors to our stories, recognizing that we're the authors. We get to decide what our life is. But yeah, these are the kind of beautiful shifts and transitions that people do experience. And we would love to support any of you who are ready to have that in your life.
And this is the time, Lori, I just want to say really quick about the Lionsgate. Lori mentioned the Lionsgate.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
I was in a spiritual mastermind for years and with elite people like Kimberly Maroney, the original angel person with her cards and people like that. And so I remember when it was in February of 2016, we were all talking about the Lionsgate opening on the 8th of August. And every year it kept coming around. People were like, the Lionsgate, the Lionsgate, the Lionsgate. What it is it's reducing our distraction from the outside world and allowing us to be empowered with what serves us greatest and the people. We're eliminating things, we're eliminating people that hurt us, that do not belong in our lives. We're bringing in the greatest version, not only of ourselves, but of our companions and our people that we really love. So the Lionsgate is beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I love what you read that Eileen had sent, because that's really powerful. It is about this moment right here and who we are and where we're moving forward. The work that, I have to say, thank you, Lori, the work that we do is right on target, because this is what is going on universally.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that being in the academy. Like I know a lot of the stuff in there, but the way you describe the way the brain works, the way trauma works on the nervous system, I really got a lot out of it. It brought a lot to me, but then you guys have the support of the calls. So we're not, it's not like I'm reading all my books and it's just a one way in your brain. And we have the support to be able to work through it and actually turn it into actionable steps. And that's what you both provide, you know, as amazing mentors and transformational coaches. And, you know, Mia's been there for me. And, you know, I couldn't even get dressed and put any clothes on. I used to do our calls just propped up, not moving my stomach. And I've made a lot of shifts and healed a lot of things. And, you know,
and you're ready for more.
Yeah. And I found that place, you know, and you hold that higher vision. And that's what the course is, holding the greatest you vision. So it helps me have something to look forward to. So for people who don't know where they want to go yet, or what their version of being healthy is, what their version of being in a healthy relationship is, what loving themselves is, you guys create a space for us to expand, to find our own vision with your support and guidance, and then to find our purpose and our meaning. And I just want to say that that's been really powerful, and I'm very grateful.
Thank you. That's really beautiful.
So happy to know
I wrote that down really fast. That was really beautiful. Thank you.
It was really beautiful. And it just shows, like, you know, how open you are and ready for these things to happen for you. And that's really what it's about. You know, yes, when we have, you know, the information, we have the ways to help move people, but it's you, right? This is, we're bringing it out of, it's all you and it's all yours. And that's the important, exciting part. So thank you, Nicole, for being with us, for allowing your example to serve in such a powerful way. There is no question that your gifts are shining now, today, on everybody, and that this process for you, you know, that it's on your heart, that you are ready to help other people heal and grow. And I just can't wait for that to come more and more into fruition.
Thank you.
Thank you. Allow that abundant flow that you're feeling right now to just keep taking you through the day, right? Yeah. Expectancy of good, expectancy. And Elfrida, thank you for joining us. That was
beautiful
really
to have you here, sweetheart.
And Philippa came on the line. The rest are watching from the Facebook Live. So thank you.
Yeah. So don't forget too, we've got it won't be quite as in depth, because we'll be wanting to make sure that we do such a pretty talk too. Oh my gosh, it makes me want to go to Hawaii. But don't forget, we have our free open coaching on Thursday and Friday at this time.
And it's not every week, it's this week.
Yeah, no, this is an experience that we wanted to create because we had a lot of people in the challenge. We had a lot of people who I think were just kind of wanting to figure out a little bit more. So we created this space on these 2 days for other people to come and just kind of receive some extra support and guidance And it's going to be really special, and just us coming together. And even if, you know, I've been telling people, even if you don't have something that you really want to discuss, come anyway, because we're all, you know, our journeys are also similar. You're going to get something out of it, and it's going to be just a special place for love and expansion.
Same URL for the Zoom link, same time, and you'll also get reminders.
Yeah, and we want you to sign up for that so that we can make sure you get the replays and all that kind of stuff. So you can find that sign up link in our Facebook group. It is it an easy one, Mia? I can't remember.
It is womenmakingmiracles.com/2-day event.
2-day event. And we'll put that up in the Facebook group as well, and in the replay of this, so that everybody can get in there and participate.
Is it in the email too?
Yes, yes.
Oh, great. Oh, I look forward to it. Thank you so much. It was really a beautiful gift.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to turn off the live
Okay,
stream.
we'll see you soon.